Welcome to Online Business Mastery, the podcast designed to help make business simple and success inevitable. Welcome, everybody, to the Online Business Mastery podcast with me, online business strategist Matt Hall. Thank you for being here. So this is kind of like the pre-episode before we dive into the actual podcast. And some of you will already be really familiar with who I am. And you're like, Matt, another podcast? Oh, God, here we go. Why do you need another podcast? So I just want to basically reframe what this show is all about, who it's for, why you might want to listen, and what we're going to be doing with this podcast. So a lot of you will already be familiar with my other podcast, Success School. And that is a show where every single week I sit down with a complete range of different guests to talk about their story and to talk about ultimately the topic of success. In other words, how they've achieved success, how they define success, what it means to them, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. This show, on the other hand, is made to help people specifically when it comes to building an online business. And it is my belief that most of us can earn really, really good money when we understand the online world and we understand how to leverage things like social media and AI now. But at the same time, I think most of us don't realize what is possible, what we're capable of, and ultimately that we can do it. I think we've just not been taught this stuff. And I'm sure things are going to change as the decades progress, and things are changing at the speed of light with the advancements of technology. But when it comes to our education, when we was at school, we weren't being taught really about entrepreneurship or business. We weren't being taught how to make and manage money and invest money. We certainly weren't being taught about online businesses and how social media can make us so much money. And so because of that, so many people just think it's not for them. They're not an entrepreneur. They're not a business owner. They could never be wealthy. Wealth is just for famous people who got lucky, or sports stars, athletes, film stars, pop stars. And it's just not true. And so really the reason for this podcast is for me to help get this message across, give tangible advice and tips to help the normal people that maybe just weren't born into wealth and didn't get lucky as a professional footballer or whatever, to start to genuinely earn way more money through understanding online businesses. Now, it's not going to be a bells and whistles podcast with really exciting trailers and loads of editing and things like that. It's also not going to be a long podcast where every episode's like an hour and a half, or what is it Joe Rogan does now? Is it like 3-4 hour episodes? For me, this is just about me creating an episode every week and just give you genuine insights, some truths, some updates about what's working, why it's working, what's not working, why it's not working. And also I want to make it to be kind of listener-led, whereby I want to hear from you. I want to know, what are your challenges in business if you're already in business, or if you're just considering and sitting on the fence about, is business going to work for you? Is it right for you? Like, what are your fears? What are the objections? What are you struggling with to get started? So that this can be a show ultimately where it's just here to help you. And you just know you get your little episode every single week that you can just listen to, whether it be in the car, at the gym, on your morning walk, whatever it is, to just keep learning and taking on board little bite-sized chunks of information that will hopefully truly help you if you want to be successful with an online business, if you want to earn way more money, and if you want to do it in a sustainable, practical, realistic way. Because I think there's this whole narrative online where we see the Lamborghinis, the Rolex watches, and all these people who just tell you, you kind of got the fitness coaches who tell you you can have a six-pack in 6 weeks. And in the business space, it seems to be an awful lot of this whole get to 6 figures in 6 months. And a lot of it is fluff and nonsense. A lot of it is misleading. And what that leads to people, it kind of confirms to their bias and their current limiting beliefs around, oh, business isn't for me and it's not possible and all the rest of it. And what I want to do is bridge that gap. I want to say, no, I think that side of things is unrealistic, is not ascertainable for 99.9% of us. But I also don't believe that we all should just be following the more traditional route of just go to school, get a job, and work your way up the career path. That's not to mock that. And that's not to say it isn't right for some people. It's just to say we all know about that path. We've all been told about that from birth practically. And we get it. We get that you can go to uni. We get that you can get a job. We get that when you get a job, you can get pay rises. And maybe if you work really, really hard and pass enough exams, eventually you can get to a high level in that company. Like we know that. We get that. What most of us don't know enough about is how to practically start an online business, get clients, get customers, get sales, and then build from there. So this podcast is all about that. So if that sounds like something you want to listen to more about, please do stay. Listen. There'll be more episodes available at the time when this is released. So go through the episodes. Hopefully, it's going to be useful. And I did say there about writing in. So just drop me an email. Literally drop me an email. My email is matt@successfulgroup.co.uk. So go over to your email. And if you've any questions that you'd like me to answer on the podcast, and I'm even considering, hey, I might even get some of you on here and we'll just book it in and we'll book in a Zoom and I'll just be like, right, jump on the podcast and we can have a chat through your business or your business idea. I'm toying with that being an idea that could be really beneficial for people to listen to, and also for you if you come on the show, for you to get a little bit of free coaching basically. So that's what the show's about. So if you are interested in either me just answering some questions and helping you on the podcast, or maybe you coming on this podcast and we're having a chat, drop me a message. As I say, it's matt@successschoolgroup.co.uk. So there you go. It's not going to be an overly edited, like if anyone of you are watching this on YouTube versus listening to this podcast, you'll see I'm not even looking down the lens of the camera. I'm not even being overly presentery or that kind of stuff. I keep glancing down because I've made a couple of notes of things that I want to share. Basically, that's the vibe for this podcast. It's just going to be very much hearing my musings, my thoughts, my updates, trying to give as much value as I can and help as many of you as I can to start to really make money, because business is simple. It really is simple. But the confusion of so many people saying so many different things, and like bad coaches and bad mentors and scammers, and then just life and having fears and limiting beliefs, this whole kind of range of different factors makes business feel really, really hard. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm really hoping this podcast will be the thing that helps you realize that it is simple and it is possible for you to have success in an online business. Just to give you kind of a really quick overview of who I am. I set up my first business when I was 19. Most of you know this story anyway, and that was an entertainment company. We were managing tribute acts. I was performing for the company. We still have that company today. It turns 15 next year. And I had zero understanding of how to run a business. I never took an interest in business. I would never say I was entrepreneurial. I never sort of studied it at school or after school. I never went to university and studied business, nothing like that. I just literally was a performer, saw an opportunity, and I thought, maybe naively, I was like, maybe you'll make more money if you own the business rather than just work for the business. So I started a company, 19, completely naive, and learnt a hell of a lot about how not to do business. Got a lot wrong, struggled to make money, hired the wrong people, just absolutely learnt loads. And then eventually, when I was about 8 years into running that business, and I was pretty much burnt out, stressed out, and working 7 days a week and not really earning much money, I realized that one of the biggest reasons that it was so tough is I just didn't have the best business model. It was a bit of a hungry beast. It was a business that had staff full time. And I say had, I still have this business today and it's doing relatively well. It makes a profit and earns me a couple of grand a month. So it's not a terrible, terrible business. And I love Love my team. Shout out to everybody. There's people that work within that business that have worked with me for over 10 years. Some people that have been there from absolute day one. One of my best friends who performs for us has literally been with us from day one. Um, so I'm really proud of it, and there's so many great things about it. However, what I learn is that kind of business model, as I say, it's a hungry beast. There's massively high overheads, there's tiny, small profit margins. In order to really scale it and grow big, it needs huge investment, I would say, of tens of thousands of pounds. But again, the profit margin's always going to be low. We have premises that we pay for, we have staff that we pay for, we have Google ads and marketing and SEO costs every single month. We have speakers, we have lighting equipment, we have costumes, we have vans, which also need MOTs and servicing and insurance. Like there's just, as I say, hungry beast. There's high overheads, minimal profit. And what I started to look into, probably, around 7, 8 years ago, something like that, is learning more about the online space, learning about social media marketing, learning about podcasting. And also at the same time, I was really learning about personal development and mindset and, self development. And then that led me down this path of getting qualified to coach people on NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, life coaching. And I built a business around something I love, which is just helping people better themselves and helping myself as well. And that led to memberships, courses, podcasts, and things like that. And again, that's now Success School is now a really successful business that I love, which has minimal overheads, low startup costs, and makes a really positive impact and income. So that's what I love teaching people now. I then went and again studied and got qualified. Big shout out to Lisa Johnson, who's also a business strategist. And I did her course from that strategy company that she's the director of, and got qualified as a CPD accredited business strategist. So kind of everything I share on this show is going to be a combination of what I did wrong, what I've done right, all my experiences in various different types of businesses over 15 years, and then also what I've learned and what I've been qualified to do, which is to help people with business strategy. So there you go. I had a couple of notes down here on my phone. Other than that, it was just a random chat just to set the tone. And literally, that is going to be the show. We're just going to chat like this every single episode. But what I am going to do is make each episode be a specific topic and a specific theme so that this can be really step by step. If you are looking for success in an online business, you will find an episode over time, hopefully, that can help you every single step of the way on your journey. So strap in, make sure you do the thing that you know you need to do, subscribe, and do that, by the way. Like, let's start as we mean to go here, people. Please do subscribe. Click that button wherever you are, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. There's a subscribe button somewhere. Find it now. Make sure you hit it. And what that means is you'll get notifications even when the next episode is live, so that you can stay on this journey and not forget about me, basically, because I'm here to help you. That's why I'm doing this, to help as many people as possible. So subscribe. Please do go on better. If you think this is going to be pretty good, please share it, tell people about it, stick it in a WhatsApp group, put it on your Insta story, whatever. Leave us a rating and a review. I know I'm asking a lot of you already, aren't I? But hopefully you'll get a lot back in return. So stick with us. And if you are ready, head on over to the next episode and let's keep the journey going. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and I've got a little gift for you to say thank you. If you're a business owner and you want more followers, you need more visibility and more sales, I've put a simple 7-step guide together for free that you can follow. Just head on over to successschoolgroup.co.uk/ultimate visibility guide. I hope it helps.